really where they want to be for their RQS moving towards regionals. And now we're going to see the first gymnast here is Megan Ruzicka. Oh, wow. She's doing a laid out Yurchenko full. She'd actually competed a tucked full, which starts out of a 9.9. I knew she was working towards that laid out full. Didn't quite get the block off the horse to get that around, but it's great to see her upgrading this vault. She's a graduate student. And
yes.
You can see she just didn't quite get the block off the horse and had to take that step to the side. And now we're seeing Bree Showers on uneven bars. Great Shushanova to open there. A nice full twisting double back. We do have Oklahoma and UNC alternating, where Ball State is going straight through on floor, so we're going to bring you both those routines as they come.
So obviously you're seeing the Sooners getting out to that solid start with Bree Showers. Ball State, meanwhile, under head coach Joanna Salim in her 6th season as head coach of Ball State.
And this is Maddie McDonald. She's a junior. Nice double back to finish there.
So the Tar Heels will be next on the vault, and it's going to be the young freshman Drew Aldridge out of Los Angeles, California.
And she's a powerful athlete, did compete vault last week. We are going to see a lot of new routines from Carolina. They lost 10 to 11 routines from their outstanding senior class last year, including Morgan Lane, who's now a volunteer assistant coach. And another one of those laid out Yurchenkos, that starts from a 9.95. She could have gotten a little bit of a better block. She had that big step back on the landing, so those will be deductions, but a solid start for Carolina.
And now OU on the balance beam, actually the uneven bars.
And moving through this routine really nicely. Great form on that dismount, just the step.
I believe that's Alex Marks, the senior out of Cushing, Oklahoma. Local product, primarily performs on the uneven bars, the only event she competes in.
Yeah, and she made her way into the lineup this year, doing a really great job for Oklahoma. And now we're going to see Alexis Allen on vault. And this is going to be interesting because she actually sat this vault down last week when they were at George Washington. She vaults a Yurchenko Arabian. She has a lot of power in this vault, so sometimes she has trouble controlling that power. I think probably last week she was just trying to hone in and go for that stick, control her power, and that ended up coming in a little bit short.
She is a second-team All-EAGL in the vault. Also have action on floor exercise as well for the Cardinals of Ball State.
And nice double pike to open. I think she just stayed in there.
Extra pad material there to absorb the fall. Oklahoma doing really well also on the uneven bars, as you see the step out. And now the judges over at Vault have given Alexis Allen the go. So we will see the junior out of Sparks, Nevada.
And wow, really nice vault for Alexis. I'm sure she's really pleased with that after last week, just that hop forward.
So this is Rachel Benoit, the junior out of Arlington, Massachusetts, completing her routine on floor exercise for Ball State. As you saw earlier, she did step out of bounds, so that will be a 10th deduction automatically.
Nice double back to close, though. I like the level of performance that Ball State is bringing to the floor exercise.
So both Carolina and Oklahoma have gone through 3 performers on their routines. Florida State, actually Ball State just finished their 2nd. I believe 4th up for Oklahoma, it should be, if the rotation hasn't changed, it should be Brenna Dowell, one of the senior captains.
And really nice turn into that Jaeger. And nice bail to handstand. Gearing up for the dismount here. Nice double layout. She's a little bit under-rotated there, but she managed to hang on to that stick.
Correction, that was Carrie Thomas, the transfer from Maryland. As you see, the Tar Heels now going up on vault.
And that's Michaela Robinson right there with a laid out Yurchenko full. Really nice in the air. Just had that, again, landing control. They've been vaulting onto soft landings in the preseason. So for a lot of these athletes, this is getting out there and really doing these vaults on hard surfaces in competition for the first time.
So my apologies, that was Carrie Thomas that was just previously performed on the uneven bars. She is the replacement for Maggie Nichols, and they will finish with Brenna Dowell and Nicole Lehrman.
That's right, and I think it's going to be exciting to see. Brenna Dowell is such a powerhouse on this event. She's powerful on all the events, but she really showcases her release moves are out of this world.
We also get a look at Madison Hargrave, who is up 5th for the Tar Heels, one of the 3 seniors on this team. Did very well last week, 9.725.
And now we're seeing Brenna. Look at this huge ray. Wow. And maybe just a tad short on that bail to handstand. The gymnast will incur a deduction every time they're short of a handstand.
Well, one thing they are doing is sticking the landing.
That's right, and Brenna Dowell has such a great sense on uneven bars for sticking those landings.
Third performance for Ball State.
And this is Maddie Hargrave on vault as well.
And a wonderful vault from the senior.
Really nice Yurchenko full. She's improved so much on that event.
Performing for the Cardinals is the freshman Marissa Nichek, freshman out of Fort Myers, Florida. She had a 9.7 in the meet last week up in DC. And it looks like we're getting ready for Nicole Lehrman for Oklahoma. She finished 3rd last year at Nationals in the uneven parallel bars.
And she is an incredible bar worker. Just really extended line. Look at how she gets on top of those handstands.
and stays vertical the entire way.
That's right, and that's something we're going to be looking for throughout the rotations for the other teams, especially on those bail elements to the low bar. She handled that great. Beautiful form on that dismount, just a small hop there.
And now we get to see the Tar Heel star, the junior Kaja Hislop, who was first team All-EAGL on the vault.
Oh, and that's really uncharacteristic.
Back here in Carmichael Arena, and after the first rotation, Oklahoma doing very well, getting a 49.4 on the uneven bars. Ball State, excellent on floor exercise, 48.85, and North Carolina 48.5 on the vault. Brian Ware and Christina Chauvenet here. And Christina, we know why Oklahoma is so good. Their routines in terms of the uneven bars and the stuck landings, that's why they're so good.
That's absolutely right. We're taking a look here at Bree Showers dismount. Look at that. Really nice full in. And this big ray from Brenna Dow. No one in NCAA does it as good as well as she does.
Yeah, some of the other better scores from the Sooners were Anastasia Webb, a 9.9, Nicole Lehrman,
there,
a
yep.
9.9 to finish.
So that was really exciting for UNC Gymnastics.
So as we mentioned, Ball State now up on vault, and starting out will be Arden Hudson.
And look at this front handspring double full. That is such a cool vault. I don't know of anyone else who's doing that in the NCAA. If you do know, tweet us with the NCAA Gym hashtag. But it's so cool to see that innovation in the bar lineup. That vault starts, the vault lineup. That vault starts out of a 10.0.
So first up for North Carolina is the senior Megan Ruzicka.
And she has a really nice ginger we're going to see here. Nice transition. And she has such a cool story. Was at Iowa for 2 seasons, then transferred to Northwestern, did not compete NCAA gymnastics in her last 2 years, and came back and is competing now as a graduate student. Awesome to see her. Such a passion for the sport.
And now we get to see the youth of Oklahoma. This is Olivia Troutman, a freshman from Minnesota. She went to the same gym club that Maggie Nichols went to.
That's right, and I think we're going to see great things from her in the NCAA, just like we have from Maggie Nichols. And she's been really strong for the Sooners already in their season. Oklahoma has competed in 1 additional meet compared to Ball State and Carolina. Nice back handspring layout step out there. And nice, she's moving through this routine really nicely. One thing to keep in mind about balance beam this season is there are new pause deductions. So gymnasts cannot pause without, they'll incur an additional deduction the longer they pause. And she's doing a good job of avoiding those deductions. Good front toss there.
Also a quick action on the ball, as you saw it in the double box, but back here with the Sooners.
And just a dismount here. Just a hop on that landing, but strong start for the Sooners.
Troutman got a 9.825 last week against 5th-ranked Georgia, as we now get ready on the uneven bars with Michaela Williams, junior out of Georgia, specifically focuses on the uneven bars. Had a season best 9.8 in the home finale against Pitt, which last year that meet was where Carolina got into the 196 range, just got over 196. A lot of personal bests on that day.
That's right. And she's recovering from an off-season injury, so she hasn't quite had the number of routines. You see a little shy on that last handstand, but good to see her getting into the lineup. Nice double layout, just that hop, but got good height and distance.
So now the Cardinals getting ready for their 3rd attempt here on vault. A
nice laid out Yurchenko full. Again, that hop back, we're seeing that a lot. just because, again, these gymnasts have been vaulting for the majority of the preseason onto softer landings. That's for the protection of their bodies, their ankles. So we're going to see that throughout some of these lineups, but overall strong start.
So coming up next for the Sooners is senior Nicole Lehrman. As we said, you saw her get an excellent score on uneven bars, and she's just as good on the balance beam. Had a score of 9.925 last year.
And she has an excellent line. I love this mount. I love it when gymnasts do something different with their mount, make it creative, and that's what KJ Kindler really specializes in.
Yeah, she did a great job in terms of helping coach Taylor Spears, who was a former gymnast with Oklahoma, got their first national champion, on the balance beam. Taylor Spears, if you don't remember the name, she was an assistant coach with the Tar Heels last year.
That's right, now at Arizona. And we're seeing Drew Aldrich here on bars. As we see that cool flight series. And again, really, they just show so much different things in their beam routines. Nice routine for Carolina there on the uneven bars as well.
Yeah, a quick look from Ball State. Fourth up, this freshman Sandra Elsadek. As Lehrman, nice dismount.
A really nice stick. I think it's hard to go into that gainer. A lot of gymnasts enter with a cartwheel. She's able to generate enough power to stick that thing without doing the cartwheel, which is awesome. Such a beautiful gymnast to watch, and I love that triple series in the middle to the swing down.
And hugs all around for the senior captain out of Austin, Texas. As fourth up for the Tar Heels will be one of their new gymnasts, Emery Summy.
And we're getting a look at Brenna Dowell here. I'm sure folks that are tuning in will be really excited to see her back in the beam lineup. Talked to KJ Kindler, and she said, this has been a goal of Brenna's to be back in the all-around. She didn't compete beam her first 3 seasons at Oklahoma, and she has so many tricks that she can throw. Really excited to see her full twisting back handspring. But really, it's just about her. She did have a couple of bobbles last week. She was competing exhibition, and so hopefully she can correct those. She had to repeat her one of her series elements because she couldn't quite connect it, which you don't get a deduction for doing that, but you will incur deductions for form off of whatever element you do.
Senior out of Odessa, Missouri. As we said, she said she's now getting into the all-around form. She did get a 9.925 in an exhibition performance. Did you get a look at Summy?
Oh gosh. And just too far away from the bar. She's a freshman, also is coming back from off-season injuries, so hasn't quite had the numbers that some of those other athletes have, as we see Brenna Dowell here mounting beam. And Brenna has so many accolades. She was a member of the 2015 World Championship team and competed in the 2016 Olympic trials. And there's that series, handles that really nicely. That is a required series, the connected acro elements. Maybe just a tad shy on one of those switch leaps.
And a good recovery for Summy, completing the routine.
And that's really important because you never know when that routine is going to have to count. So it's important for those gymnasts to be able to re-chalk, mount, and it's really hard after a fall, especially on a release element that kind of takes the wind out of you.
Here's Maddie McDonald for Ball State.
Wow, and that was a great stuck landing. And back to Brenna on beam. And we just missed her full twisting back handspring.
But a nice 1.5 twist stuck dismount.
Actually, a full twisting layout off the end of the beam there, but really great to see her stick that, and probably a big confidence builder after her struggling a little bit in that exhibition last week.
So 5th up for the Tar Heels will be Grace Donahue.
And I love watching Grace on this event. She's a really good swinger, has great toe points, and she's been consistent. You know, I think she's one of those athletes that she hasn't quite been able to get into those big 9-9 scores, but she's certainly capable of it. It's just a matter of cleaning up a couple of handstands here and there.
Junior out of Lake Oswego, Oregon, mostly competes on both bars and beam. She did miss a part of last year due to injury, but
great to see her catch that. She struggled with that release move last season. And that's one of those places she was short on that handstand, will incur a deduction. Nice double out. She had some leg separation in the air. Not sure if the judges will catch that because they are sitting off to the side.
And Stephanie Schweikert now up for Ball State on vault. 6th member for the rotation. And the freshman Schweikert ending things well for the Cardinals.
And that was a really nice, the blind landings were really difficult. That's another one of those vaults that starts out of a 9.95.
So now 4th up is Carly Woodard for Oklahoma. Sophomore, specifically a balance beam specialist for the Sooners. Last year had a 9.95 against the Gators.
A really nice series there. That's unusual to see in NCAA gymnastics, that aerial to back handspring. And this is what I love about the Sooners' balance beam lineup. They're able to combine some of those really difficult elements, but also continue that artistry on balance beam. You don't see a lot of other teams performing the way that Oklahoma does on the balance beam.
Also ready to perform is Riley Dewhurst for North Carolina on the uneven bars.
Really nice Maloney there. And great dismount for Oklahoma on beam.
It's become customary as Dewhurst getting ready for her dismount.
And she's moved nicely through this routine. A couple short handstands. Oh, wow. She stuck that dismount. I thought she might have flung it out a little bit, but did a great job controlling that coming into landing.
As the team surrounds her. One last exhibition performance from Ball State. It's Marissa Nychik.
And that's a tucked 1.5, Yurchenko. That is out of a 10.0, same as that laid out 1.5. And she did a really great job with it. The tucked 1.5, it's easier to perform because you're not keeping your body laid out throughout the entire vault. She really honed in on that landing.
So the Sooners will have 2 scoring performances and 1 exhibition performance left on the balance beam. And 5th up is Brianna Showers, who got things started out well for the Sooners on the uneven bars. You also have an exhibition performance for the Tar Heels as well. And Emily White, sophomore out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, transfer from Iowa State.
And she does a Stalter in her routine, a really cool element that you don't see in NCAA very often. Oh, I thought she had that. It looked like her grip just slipped somewhat. Good fight to stay on. as we see Bree Showers getting started here for Oklahoma. And here's that cool element. Oh gosh, just kind of ran out of steam at the end there. And getting ready for Bree Showers series. Nice fight there. I think she might have been a little bit off on that layout step out, but she's such a fierce competitor that she can really just hone in on that landing, even if she's a little bit off in the air.
And as you see on the scores, both Ball State and North Carolina have completed their second rotations, while Oklahoma still has 2 performances left.
And great front toss there into the beat jump. And there's that cartwheel to gainer full. Business as usual for the Sooners. Another stuck landing. This beam rotation is really improved for them over last week. They did have several wobbles last week. And look at that dismount. Maybe just a tad shy, but you know what? She can really sell that stick.
So 6th and final performer for the Sooners will be Anastasia Webb, and she was a sensation last year for the Sooners. She was named the Big 12 Newcomer of the Year. She was an All-American on floor exercise and was the 3rd freshman in school history to ever record a perfect 10 on the beam versus UCLA.
Yes, she was one of the athletes that helped clinch the victory for Oklahoma in the regular season against UCLA, one of the tightest meets we saw all year. And she's beautiful to watch on this event.
And we will also see her perform on floor exercise as well.
And you know, I mean, I think this is it's been a great rotation for Oklahoma and a great meet, because Maggie Nichols not performing, they really just, all the athletes step up to the plate. They have such depth that they can really continue on. You can't ever replace Maggie Nichols, but they've got so many great athletes that are ready to go on all the events.
Yeah, we said at the top of the broadcast that in their first 2 meets, as we said, they got just over 198 against Arkansas in Arkansas, and then in their first home meet they just got there's a high 197, but in 48 routines, 22 of them, almost 50%, were 9.9 or higher.
It really is a wealth of riches. And nice correction there. She was a little bit off, managed to minimize that deduction. So anytime a gymnast is off, even just with having a little correction with chest or arm movements, it should be a little deduction. And obviously the deduction increases as the correction movement gets bigger. And shy on that split leap. That's another thing we're going to be looking for, is in all of these split elements for the gymnast to be reaching 180 degrees. She gears up for her dismount. Nice aerial to full, stuck dismount. You know, a couple of places in there where she had little bobbles, but again, I think it's really good for the Sooners, you know, to keep moving through those mistakes, not let them turn into anything big.
Let's get another look at the dismount from Anastasia Webb. Just
an aerial right into that full. Nice stick. Her feet are a little bit apart on the landing, but overall really nice routine.
And the one thing you can really see in terms of like the better teams in the country, when you talk about Oklahoma, when you talk about UCLA, you talk about Alabama, Georgia, is the consistency and the confidence that they have both in themselves and through the rest of the team.
That's absolutely right. And you know, a lot of their athletes have said that. You know, we're all so confident that we can hit our routines. And Oklahoma, you know, they scored a 198, again, as we mentioned, becoming the first team to do that in a season opener. Didn't quite make that 198 mark in their second competition, but still very, very strong.
And I just saw the score. It's a 9.95 for Anastasia Webb. Even though that you saw that slight off bit, she was able to fight through it. And I think they said that she completed the element. So that's an excellent score for Anastasia Webb. As you get a look at Carrie Thomas for the Sooners, sophomore, we said was a transfer from the University of Maryland, and set some personal bests for the Terrapins. She was part of the Junior Olympic National Team in 2015, coming through high school.
And this is exciting for her. Debuted her first competitive bar routine, and now her first, this is her exhibition on beam, but still great for her to get this routine out there. And gearing up for her series here, back handspring layout step out. Nice fight. She really was pretty far off on that landing, but it's impressive that she was able to save that. And again, that's something that you want to be prepared for, so that if she goes in the lineup, it's important to be able to save that and minimize the deduction. And great show of flexibility there as well. Aerial to full. I think she should be really pleased with that routine. The Sooner beam lineup is not an easy lineup to break into, but you never know what's going to happen throughout the season, and so you want to have as many athletes prepared as you can to go in those spots, and she did it.
In the country on floor exercises. First up for the Tar Heels on balance beam is Grace Donahue.
And she's going to bring that same beautiful line she brought to bars to beam. And that's an area where she might incur deduction, a little bit of a long pause before her series.
And also for Ball State, you have the freshman Sandra Elsadek on the uneven bars.
A little leg separation on that pack, but great difficulty she's showing throughout this routine. And one of the things, I got a chance to talk to the UNC coaching staff. Nice full-in dismount there. I got a chance to talk to the UNC coaching staff. They are really honing in on the pause deductions on beam. Grace, except for the first back handspring layout step out, she has moved pretty nicely through this routine, but she's having some balance checks throughout. Again, good to see her fight through though, because this is the first routine of the rotation, so you never know what's going to come after you.
And usually on the beam, going first sets the tone, and a good tone that even though she fought through some of her aerial elements. And coming up first for the Sooners is Anastasia Webb, who has been rock solid for the Sooners so far today. 9.9 on bars and 9.95 on beam.
A nice front double pull there to open.
We also have Arden Hudson competing on the uneven bars. Second up for the Cardinals as Webb goes for her final tumble.
Nice Rudy there to finish. And KJ Kindler, who choreographs these routines, such an innovator. She told me she always likes to do different things with the routines, and I think they're bringing a lot of artistry to NCAA gymnastics.
So now second up for the Tar Heels will be Alexis Allen, the junior out of Nevada, who really came into her own on the balance beam, set a personal best of 9.9 in the home meet against Temple early in the year.
Last season set that personal best. She does struggle with consistency sometimes on the balance beam. A nice series there. And they have just been a little bit shy of that switch side.
And just talk about how many different elements in terms of combinations or series of things that you have to go through on the checklist.
Oh, and just a little bit off on that aerial element. Yeah, so all of the gymnasts have to do different elements, including an acrobatic series. So you see that cartwheel gainer. Nice routine for Alexis. You can see she's stoked about that. It's really good to see her building confidence on beam.
So third up for Ball State will be Maddie McDonald, junior out of Pennsylvania.
She was just a little bit low in her bail, but saved it nicely as she's gearing up for her dismount here. Nice double layout. Again, we'll get a deduction for that step, but overall good job.
So you see the Tar Heels and Sooners alternating between each other. Second up for the Sooners, and her debut here at Carmichael, Jade Degovia.
And she's such a treat to watch on this event.
Junior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, set a personal best last week in their home opener against the Bulldogs.
And another one of those front double fulls. And the 1.5 into that front full, you see a lot of athletes do the 1.5 to front layout, not a lot with that difficulty. Beautiful job there for Jade Degovea.
Fourth up for the Cardinals is Marissa Nychek.
And she has had some leg separation and a couple of shy handstands in this routine. Nice recovery on that dismount though.
As you see on the other box, third up for the Tar Heels is Lily Dean.
And this is exciting for Lily. She hasn't seen a lot of action in the beam lineup, staple of the floor lineup, but she's been working really hard on this event.
Yeah, she did have some scoring routines last year. But as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, how there were, the Tar Heels have had to replace a couple of big stars who would compete on beam. Ladies like Morgan Lane and Caitlin Headland.
That's right. So this is giving an opportunity for a lot of the upperclassmen have really stepped up, or the returning athletes, I should say, have really stepped into those places. Just a little bit off on that switch leap, but she keeps the connection with the jump, which is another required series to connect to dance elements. And wow, really nice job for Lily Dean there. I think that's going to be her career high.
Sophomore out of North Andover, Massachusetts. And now we get ready for Allie Stern.
And she's actually, she's from North Carolina.
Hails from Charlotte, one of the other young freshmen for this Sooner squad, and also competing on the bars. You see Jordan Penny, who won in the uneven bars last week in DC for the Cardinals in that quad meet.
And recovers nicely from the error she had on her bail. Oh gosh.
Just lost a little bit of energy there on that final tumble.
Yeah, and you know, endurance is an issue early in the season. Again, the Sooners they've had one additional meet compared to the Tar Heels and Ball State, who are in their second meet. But good to see her getting in the lineup and getting that experience. You know, that was something when I talked to Coach Kindler before. They have had some errors in their floor lineups. Haven't had to count a fall, but they have had some errors in routines that they've been able to drop. So I'm sure that's something they're going back. KJ told me they were really working on endurance, and I'm sure that's something they're going to continue to work on as we move into the middle part of the season.
So there you get a look at Kaja Hislop, who's fourth up for Carolina on the balance beam. Hislop you saw earlier on vault. She mostly competes on vault, beam, and floor for the Tar Heels. And the junior was a first team all EAGL on balance beam.
And Kaj is known for her great form, and especially her split leaps, as you see her series here. Aerial to that back handspring.
And unfortunately, Caitlin Menzioni took a fall, the sixth performer for the Cardinals on uneven bars.
Nice recovery with that double layout dismount. That does mean the Ball State's going to end up counting an error because there was an error in the previous routine on the bail. As we move back to Kaja's routine.
And Kaja also set a personal best in that regular season finale against Pitt.
And here's her dismount. Struggled a little bit with this last season. Nice to see her. Oh, you know, she had that stick. She just really needs to sink into it. Took that step. But nice to see her do so well. You know, they lost Morgan Lane last year, who was a Jim Turnett fan favorite. So, again, you know, it's kind of like saying, like with Maggie Nichols, like you can't replace a Morgan Lane, but good to see people stepping into the Carolina beam lineup.
And coming up now for the Sooners is Brenna Dowell, the senior from Missouri, who has done really well on the floor.
And Brenna's about to put on a tumbling clinic. She is so powerful on this event. We will see if she does. She has two options for her opening pass. She can either do the dowel or the double front, tucked. And does the double front. No one in NCAA is doing that like her.
She set a season best last year, 9.975. She is so close to getting that perfect 10. We also have an exhibition performance for the Cardinals in young freshman Stephanie Schweikert. But Dow getting ready for her final tumble in front of her teammates.
Nice front full connected to that stag jump.
As you said, a tumbling clinic, and that's going to be one of the better scores for the Sooners here on floor exercise.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about Brenna Dow? She is so powerful. Sometimes struggles on some of those, getting 180 degrees on her splits, but did pretty well in that routine.
And you really saw the confidence on that first tumble.
Oh yeah, she's so rock solid on that double front.
And right now, Riley Dewhurst is up for the Tar Heels. The sophomore out of Las Vegas, who actually set a personal best last year in the meet in Norman.
Yeah, so maybe this will bring her some good luck. It looked like she was just shy on that side split jump.
So you see on the score bug there, Ball State with a score of 145.125. They are completed through their third rotation. Tar Heels and the Sooners, who are alternating between beam and floor, still competing.
Love that, showing off the flexibility there. A nice duck dismount for her. Great job. And she scored a 9.65 last week. I think we'll see that go up.
And the score for Brenna Dow on that floor routine, 9.925. As we get to see the young freshman Olivia Troutman up.
Yeah, and speaking of tumbling clinic, she's going to open with a huge double layout.
Yeah, she had a 9.925 against Georgia, and in the first meet of her career on floor exercise, one of the judges gave her a 10 on her floor routine.
Wow, and closes with that huge double back. Absolutely lights out. As you said, Brian, she didn't waste any time with any freshman jitters. She's done a great job for the Sooners so far.
Well, you know, in the media guides a couple years ago, she competed at the P&G Championships, which is a high-ranked national tournament here in the U.S.
That's right. She was an elite gymnast alongside Maggie Nichols, and I know they're really excited to be training here together again at Oklahoma.
So sixth up for the Tar Heels, it is Jamie DeChico, one of the three seniors for this Tar Heels side.
And it's so exciting to see her make it into the lineup. She hasn't seen a lot of lineup action in her time at Carolina, but she's a beautiful gymnast to watch on this event.
Senior out of Fayetteville, Georgia.
It may have just been a little bit short of split there. But you know, one of the things I love about Jamie's work is she also brings a lot of artistry to this routine. She has that down close to the beam work, and she also has a pike jump we're going to see right there. Rare to see that in NCAA gymnastics as well. And she's doing that gainer as well. A nice duck landing. Really strong rotation for Carolina.
So now 6th up for the Sooners is Jordan Draper, and I saw the score for Troutman, 9.975. So one of the judges gave her a 10.
There you go. You know, she is so spectacular on that event.
So now you get a look at Jordan Draper, sophomore out of Bedford, Texas, specifically competed on floor on certain occasions. Again, trying to crack into that lineup with...
Oh gosh. Covers nicely with that middle pass.
And unfortunately, after missing that first tumble with the score that Allie Stern got, one of these routines has to count.
This is where Oklahoma's usually not in, where they have to count a ball. You know, good for her for fighting through the rest of that routine. She was a little bit short on that last tumbling pass, but managed to get it around. And again, I mean, you know, nobody's perfect,
no.
And it's great to see that fight, this fight from these athletes. And they're still going to have a fine score. They've got a lot of those big scores, like Olivia Troutman's coming in with that 9.975.
So here we have an exhibition performance from the Tar Heels. It's from Rain Gordon, junior out of California, who's specifically a bars and beam specialist for the Tar Heels last year.
And she's recovering from a wrist injury. And you know, it was a little slow in that connection. That's a difficult connection. A lot do the aerial back handspring, not a lot are doing the aerial two back tuck. But when you're slow in the connection, you can get deducted, or you can lose the connection bonus if the judges think it's slow enough. Or it's, excuse me, not quick enough to count as a connection. I think they probably will give it to her, but it'll be interesting to see what the judges do.
She said how a consistent PR for Gordon last year, 9.825 3 times, including down in Tuscaloosa with Alabama.
And that double stag jump, that's one of the things I do love about UNC's lineup. Just like Oklahoma, they have unique elements in it. And it's good to see Rain getting into this exhibition spot and hangs on for that stick. You know, I think we'll see some of those elements, especially her series, get better as the season goes on.
So we have one exhibition performance left, and it's on floor exercise, and it's from Oklahoma's third and final freshman, Emma LaPinta. She comes from Frisco, Texas. Trained at Kurt Thomas Gymnastics.
And opens with that big triple full. A lot of people struggle to get that around. She had the bounding step back. double back there to finish. And good for her, you know, she showed one floor routine so far this season and did have a fall in that final pass, so good to see her recover. Remember, these athletes in exhibition are also competing for spots in the lineup, so especially early in the season, you'll see some of those lineups switch up.
So North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Ball State will get ready for their fourth routine. It's on floor exercise, but the stars shined brightly.
Yeah, and here you see Brenna Dowell, just such a wonderful tumbler. And Olivia Troutman, one of the highlights of this rotation, such great power. Oklahoma's able to connect those passes so well. And there's that double back to end with power to spare. And the artistry of Oklahoma on floor, it was so incredible.
Yeah, Troutman with a 9.975 on floor.
Kaja, they've lost some routines. They lost Morgan Lane last year, and they lost Madison Nettles, who were some of their highest, who got some of their highest
scores. As you see, Bree Showers first up for the Sooners on vault. Vault is also another very good rotation that the Sooners have.
That's right, and the full twisting Yurchenko, so not going to see those 6-10-0 starts from the Sooners today, but that was a strong start nonetheless.
And first up for Ball State is the freshman Marissa Nychik.
Good fight there. A lot of these dance elements may not look as difficult as the acrobatic elements, but they are, especially when you land facing sideways on the beam, it's very difficult. Good recovery there with that 1.5 twist.
She started for the Cardinals last week at GW. And first up for Carolina on floor exercise will be Michaela Robinson, the junior, out of Chantilly, Virginia.
And fun fact, her sister, who is a Berkeley graduate, Ariana Robinson, this is her floor music from her freshman year. So that's a fun sisterly NCAA gymnastics connection. And looks like there was a little bit of an error in starting that.
But obviously the Tar Heels doing very well under associate head coach Marie Case-Denick, who helps choreograph these floor routines.
That's right.
As you cut to vault as well with Nicole Lerman.
A nice 1.5. She upgraded that over the summer, said it was always on her bucket list to compete in college. But look at that huge double pike. Sometimes has trouble controlling that power, did a nice job there.
Michaela set a personal best early in the year last year against Temple with a 9.9. Had a 9.8 last week in DC.
Double back, but really nice routine to start the Tar Heels off.
And third up for the Sooners is Anastasia Webb.
And another one of those 1.5. That's really nice to see. She sat that down in the warm-up, so good to see her come back from that. A little bit short, so she'll incur a deduction, but again, strong vault for Oklahoma.
And you mentioned about how the Sooners really, do carbon copies of the same vaults.
That's right. So they debuted, as we see, a back handspring land. In the series, she was too far off. Her hips way off center there. Had to take the fall.
Yeah, Sydney Finke, the senior for Ball State, second up for the Cardinals. That's a couple off of, the Yurchenko 1.5s for Oklahoma on vault. You know, multiple of their gymnasts can complete and do it really well.
That's right, and so those vaults are starting out of a 10.0 compared to the 9.95 that the fulls are. So those half tenths really do add up from gymnast to gymnast. Can't quite put it that without Maggie Nichols, they obviously aren't doing all of them. Wow, and really difficult double back. You really do not see that very often in NCAA. So impressed with the difficulty that Ball State is bringing and the recovery after that fall. Strong job.
So next up for Carolina will be Megan Ruzicka. As you also see for the Sooners, Olivia Troutman getting ready to start on vaults as well. You see Troutman's vault.
And another strong 1.5. She had a little bit of additional power, had to take that hop forward.
Meanwhile, Ruzicka competing well, as you saw a 9.8 from Michaela Robinson, same score that she had last week.
Nice recovery there on her final pass. Had a little bit of stumble on her middle pass, but great to see her. You know, all of her teammates talk about how passionate she is about the sport, and she's has a really inspiring story coming back to compete as a graduate student. As you see Jade Degovea here.
Fifth up for the Sooners.
And you know, a lot of these 1.5s are looking pretty similar, not quite honing in on those sticks this week, but have good form in the air, just that step there. Not going to match the 9.95 she got last week, most likely, but another strong vault for the Sooners.
So now it's Caitlin Menzioni, another senior for Ball State. 3 seniors on the squad for the Cardinals. Trying to recover after Finke took the fall.
And really confident series there. And nice punch front. Little hesitation into that beat jump though. Ball State has so many difficult elements on beam. Although just a little bit of cautious work here, maybe just has that fall on her mind because this is a score that they want to count.
And a quick dismount, and you get to see Brenna Dow, the vault champion.
And just a tiny hop, but otherwise really strong vault for Brenna Dowell.
6th up for the Sooners. Trying to get those scores, you know, try to fight and possibly get over 197. They've built such an incredible streak of scoring over 197 throughout the last several years.
That's
as you
right.
see, 3rd up for the Tar Heels is Jamie Antonori, junior out of Park City, Utah. Specifically competes on floor exercise. And has now worked her way into the rotation.
Really nice double pike to start there.
Wonderful middle pass. See the final vault for Oklahoma, an exhibition performance from Allie Stern.
Wow, and she knocked it out of the park. Too bad that wasn't in their counting scores lineup. Wow.
Wonderful finish from the junior, Jamie Antonori.
She has worked so hard, came in as a freshman, did not make very many lineups. I'm so impressed with her improvements over the years, and great double back for that last pass.
So fourth up for Ball State is Rachel Benoit, junior out of Arlington, Massachusetts.
And really cool triple series there. And just a little check on that full turn. Double back dismounts for Ball State on beam. That is really impressive. She did a great job with that.
So Brenna Dowell's vault that we just saw a moment ago, final score of 9.925, and you look at the team score, 197. That is now the 12th straight meet that Oklahoma has recorded a 197, and now 47 out of 48.
And, you know, it really just speaks to the depth that they have. Yes, they had some struggles. They had to count a fall on floor. They can still go 197.
They don't, and they didn't even have their best gymnast.
Exactly, yeah.
Maggie Nichols, as you get ready to see fourth up, Lily Dean for North Carolina. Lily Dean did really well, especially at the end of the year on floor exercise, set a personal best at the EAGL Championships.
And really difficult first pass here in combination. Nicely done.
She had one of the better scores for the Tar Heels last week in DC with a 9.85.
Nice rise out of that 1.5-inch layout. Great finish there with that double pike. No problem with her endurance. Really, really strong for Lily Dean. She's one of those athletes out of Breschton's, the same gym as Allie Raisman, Alicia Sacramone, and Kaj Vaslav.
So now fifth up for the Cardinals is Lauren Volpe. Lauren, a freshman out of Mundelein, Illinois.
Strong series there. I've been impressed with how Ball State has come back from that fall. Just shy of those splits on that dance series. Did a nice job of connecting those, but again, I think might have been a little shy of that 180. gearing up for her dismount here. Here's that popular aerial into the full. Little low on the dismount, but she pulled it out, and that was a really clutch routine for Ball State.
They are really recovering well after doing so well on floor exercise. They had to take a fall on the uneven bars. And now 5th up for Carolina is Kaja Hislop.
And you saw Lily Dean. Now we're going to see Breaston's legs part 2 with Kaja Hislop, one of the most powerful gymnasts in the NCAA, in my opinion, and has such great form on everything she does.
And this is why she was an All-American on floor exercise. This routine.
A double back, folks.
3 times last year, she had a 9.95, pulling out the Superman. She was super sensational. All the other adjectives you could use on that routine.
Oh, I mean, honestly, you run out of superlatives talking about Kaja Hislop. Had a chance to talk to her about floor this year. Her expectations, she said, after being an All-American, she said, it's a brand new season. I started off fresh.
So now 6th up for Ball State is Jordan Penny, the redshirt senior out of Aurora, Illinois. She also competes on balance beam and on the uneven bars.
And good fight through her series there. And she did struggle on bars. So this is an important routine for her and the team. Just a little bit shy on that split as well.
And just seeing the score for Kaja Hislop, a 9.925 on that floor routine. You see the dismount from Penny.
And nice, she started out a little bit shaky with her series, had a good recovery, great dismount. And yeah, Kaja Hislop, I think we can expect to see more of the same in a very good way from her this season. Now we're seeing Maddie Hargrave, one of the seniors for UNC. Nice front double pull there. That's UNC's only E-pass at the moment. And great routine for Maddie. She scored her career high last week.
And here's a look at what Oklahoma did throughout the day. They started on uneven bars and just went running through.
Just money.
And it's specifically Brenna Dow.
And look at that front full, just on her game. And you're seeing the front layout. to the front full. Great job. Didn't quite stick her vault as she usually does, but still great day for Brenna Dow.
Yeah, she competed in all-around, had an all-around score of 39.625. Anastasia Webb also competed in all-around, had a score of 39.5, and you see Dow's scores across the board.
Yeah, 39.625, not bad for second time out competing all around, I'd say. And she's a fan favorite for good reason.